what is something that really moves me? What is that something that that helps me connect with my authentic self, an outlet that is that comes from my creative self? So what is something that really wants to be manifested through me? What is that outlet? What is that creative source? What is that idea? Because I get about 10,000 ideas per day. I get about um 10,000 content suggestions and advices pulling me into 10 different directions. And if you have been like in this situation where it was so hard to understand what is the actual path for me, what is the actual idea that wants to be manifested through me as a vessel, and what is something that I really want to create? Because the creative energy, the creative force always has to keep moving. It always is on a move. And it's really important for the creative force, for the creative energy within you to find an outlet to express itself. So the outlet is something that is supposed to be a match for your authentic self. And to get to the level where you see everything with clarity, to get to that point, either you can navigate it yourself, like navigating your way out of a jungle, like a thick forest, understanding all the roots and everything, studying it very carefully, which means to make millions and millions of mistakes so that you can be redirected to the path that is actually right for you. Or you can go with the second option that feels um more, that feels like, that feels more recent, it feels more uh, available, right? So in the second option, when there are people who have gone through first option, like they have gone through the trials and regulations and errors, and they have made mistakes and then found themselves redirecting back on the track. And if you have people like that in your life, it is your job to recognize them. So if not going through the thick forest, if not finding your way by yourself, you could at least have the awareness, the willingness, and a little bit of a little bit of flexibility towards receiving advices, receiving help, because the receiving part is something that we all are struggling with. Receiving is a very important way of creating something. When you receive, you create with no restriction. You create with flow. You create with authenticity. You create with confidence. So if you're just giving something to a business, to an idea, to a company, an organization, if you're just giving and you're not able to receive, then you're not creating, then you're just a piece of furniture that is being used. And this may sound harsh, but the reality here is that anybody who is having trouble creating something or having clarity about what to create is having trouble ultimately receiving, and receiving in terms of like setting, you know uh how should I put this? Being in a receiving mode means calming your nervous system down. So you calm your nervous system down in a way that allows your environment, your external environment to modify itself in a way that would put you in positions of receiving and being the perfect piece of the puzzle at the perfect timing. So this is very important. And a lot of us struggle when it comes to receiving more because we have been conditioned that way. We have been programmed in a way to just follow orders. So when you're following orders, you're not receiving orders uh, from the divine energy within you. You're receiving orders from the manipulative energy around you, the illusion, the maya. So when the maya surrounds you, it is constantly testing you, constantly challenging you, asking you to come out of it, asking you to crack the code like an escape room. But the interesting part, which I find, is that Maya wants you to escape it. There is an illusion, and the illusion wants you to break it so that you can liberate it, so that you can free it from your experience. So I feel to understand that depth of illusion, to understand um, it's really a matter of experience. It's a matter of making mistakes. So if you're ready to make mistakes, if you're comfortable to keep coming back on track as and when needed, it's going to be important to first understand that you have fallen off the wagon. So acceptance, the first steps, accepting that you have fallen off the wagon, understanding that there is a failure, and then willingness to get back on track, even if it's become exhausting, even if it's reached the level of tiredness that you cannot come back from. It feels like you cannot come back from, but once you're back on track, once you have hopped on the wagon again, it's easier for you to move forward. So my question has always been a very complicated question, not in itself, but in the answer that comes from that question, that whatever answer would be of that question would be a complex answer. The question itself is easy. What moves me and what should I create? What should I create and what moves me? What is authentic to me? Who am I on an authentic level? Not only that, just if I have to sum up this question, I would say that what moves me to create from within, not to create because there's like a shit ton of workload just in front of me and I'm expected to complete everything file by file and take part in somebody else's dream. Should I do that, or should I think about this empty space that I have in front of me, an empty canvas, and think about what can I paint on this canvas which is mine, and the creation that would come through me would come through the most authentic part of myself, of my existence. So this is a complex answer to have, because then it will unfold and it will bring up to the surface everything that you have been avoiding, everything that you have been not dealing with, or not recognizing, not looking at it, like wearing blinkers. When you wear blinkers, it's not just, sometimes when you wear blinkers, it is for you to focus, but many times we wear our blinkers because we don't want to deal with the reality, or we don't want to deal with what is actually necessary or important, the dirty work, the messed work, because in the mind, in the emotional field of us, in the spiritual field of us, there's a lot of mess that keeps accumulating, and this mess has to be cleared. The emotional mess has to be cleared, and for the emotion, the intelligence has to be studied. You can only get emotional intelligence through experiences. I don't think emotional intelligence is taught, or there's a guide for it. It comes to you from within naturally. Once you start creating, you will hit roadblocks or challenges that would ultimately contribute in the exhalation or scaling of the emotional intelligence. You can study, with the books and institutions and all of that. There are so many teachers for you to teach you to be intelligent, but EQ must be learned within, and once you learn EQ, you are able to understand that spirituality goes hand in hand. So spirituality doesn't mean that you have to be religious or anything like that. It purely means that you are connected with your spirit, because that is where your consciousness is expanded, and that is where you know that you're not just a human being anymore. Now you are an integration of the spirit that you carry in the human body, which is the vessel. But in and all, in general, with the spirit and with the body, you are a vessel of creativity. There is a divine energy that creates through you. Okay, that creates through you. And that is why, if you ever wondered, why do some people create with so much ease? Why is their life so easy? And how do they create something so amazing and immaculate? It is because they are unknowingly or knowingly connected to the divine energy, divine source within them, that is the actual creator, and that just flows through the outlet of whatever they have chosen. And to choose the outlet also, it is important to have a certain kind of depth to the soul, to the heart, certain kind of expansion of the chakras that you have. So everything is connected to everything. So if you are struggling in your career life, just like me, it is important to it is important to really integrate with the internal self. Okay, not just get pulled in 10 different areas, not just get pulled by 10 different mentors, but to sit with yourself and listen to the mentor that is within you. And that is when the clarity comes in. That is when you understand that no, there is so much more to me than just this human self and physical self. There's so much more to me. There's so many people out there wanting what I have, needing the skill that I have. There is always, remember this, there is always going to be a group of people, there's always going to be a community that wants your leadership, that requires what you have. Now you may ask me that I don't have a leadership quality. I don't want to be a leader. I don't want people to follow me. Okay, but to be honest, when you unlock that gift within you that you have been searching for, wanting to create, wanting to work on, wanting to feel passionate about it and going to work every single day doing it, once you find that out, you would eventually go in the role of leadership without even knowing, because that's how the divine energy works. Okay, it gives you what you never expected, and it creates something that blows your mind away.